Blood dripped from Jack Harmon's shoulder as he pressed himself against the cold metal wall of the maintenance shaft. The security alarm screamed through the academy corridors. His breathing came in short, painful gasps. The stolen data chip felt small in his four-fingered hand, too small to be worth dying for, but it was. Find the infiltrator. Lock down all sectors. The Krell security forces were getting closer. Jack wasn't supposed to be here. 3 months ago, he had been fully human. 3 months earlier, a black military transport had picked him up from his apartment. Jack had been drinking again, trying to forget the last mission that killed his entire squad. The knock on his door came at 3 a.m. Captain Harmon? Earth Defense Command needs you. The officer's face was grim. It's not a request. 2 hours later, Jack sat in a windowless room beneath the Pentagon. General Winters slid a tablet across the table. We're losing the war, Harmon. The Krell have better ships, better weapons, better everything. In 6 months, they'll reach Earth. Jack looked at the images on the tablet. Burning colonies, dead soldiers, destroyed fleets. What do you want from me? I'm just one man. We need someone inside their command structure. Winters pointed to a hologram of a massive space station. This is the Krell War Academy. Every Krell officer trains there. And we're going to put you inside. Jack laughed. I'm human. They'll kill me on sight. The scientist next to Winters spoke up. Not if you're not human anymore. They explained the plan. Experimental gene therapy. Cellular reconstruction. Pain beyond imagination. A 50% chance of survival. You want to turn me into one of them? Jack's voice was barely a whisper. We need their battle plans. Their weaknesses. Their new weapon. Winters leaned forward. You're the only one with the right psychological profile and combat experience. Earth needs you, Captain. Jack thought about his dead squad. About Earth. About having nothing left to lose. When do we start? The pain lasted 23 days. Jack screamed until his new vocal cords tore. His bones broke and reformed. His skin darkened to blue-gray. His fingers fused until only 4 remained on each hand. His eyes changed to solid black orbs that could see in spectrums humans never knew existed. When it was over, a Krell face stared back at him from the mirror. But behind those alien eyes, Jack Harmon remained. Your cover identity is Jack Har, a cadet from the outer colonies, his handler explained. The implant in your skull contains everything you need to know about Krell society. The transmitter is undetectable. Once inside, find their battle plans for the Soul Assault. Now, 3 months later, Jack was trapped in the academy with alarms blaring. The data chip in his hand contained exactly what Earth needed, but he'd been discovered too soon. Heavy footsteps approached the maintenance shaft. Jack gripped his stolen Krell pulse pistol. The wound in his shoulder burned. He had one chance to escape. The maintenance hatch slid open. Light flooded in. A Krell security officer pointed a weapon at Jack's face. Don't move, infiltrator. Jack raised his hands slowly. The data chip hidden between his fingers. The security officer's eyes narrowed. Genetic anomaly detected. You're not Krell. What are you? Jack tensed, ready to fight or die. But before either could move, the lights throughout the academy suddenly went dark. Emergency systems failed. In the confusion, Jack saw his only chance. The security AI's voice echoed through the darkness. Security protocol activated. All personnel report to emergency stations. The darkness was Jack's salvation. He slammed his fist into the security officer's throat and pushed past him into the corridor. The emergency lights cast everything in a dim red glow. Confusion was his ally now. All systems compromised. Security breach in Sector 7, the AI announced. Jack knew this was his handler's work. The remote hack had come just in time. He pressed his hand against his earpiece. Thanks for the assist, he whispered. Don't thank me yet, came the crackling response. You have 3 minutes before systems restore. Get to your barracks now. Jack ran through the twisting corridors of the academy. His Krell body was stronger than his human one had been, but the planet's heavy gravity still made each step an effort. He tucked the data chip into a hidden pocket in his uniform and wiped the blue-tinted blood from his shoulder. The wound wasn't deep, but it hurt like hell. He reached his barracks just as the lights flickered back on. Inside, the other cadets were standing at attention. Vexenar, the squad leader, turned to Jack with suspicion in his black eyes. "Jackar, where were you during the alert?" Jack straightened his posture. "Medical bay. Injured during combat training." Vexenar stepped closer. He was taller than the other Krell, with the distinctive facial ridges of the high-born caste. "Strange. I checked the medical logs. Your name wasn't there. The systems went down before they could process me," Jack said, keeping his voice steady. Vexenar's four-fingered hand shot out, grabbing Jack's injured shoulder. Pain exploded through Jack's body, but he didn't flinch. Showing weakness among the Krell was dangerous. "You smell wrong, Jackar. You always have?" Vexenar's face was inches from Jack's. "I'm watching you." The barracks door slid open. Commander Drez entered, his uniform bearing the marks of the elite Krell military caste. "Attention! The security breach has been contained. One infiltrator is still at large." Drez's eyes scanned the room. "Tomorrow's combat exercises will proceed as planned. The infiltrator will be found and executed." Jack felt cold sweat on his back. The commander's eyes lingered on him for a moment too long. After Drez left, the cadets prepared for sleep cycle. Jack sat on his bunk, examining his wound when Tazriel, a smaller Krell from a lower caste, approached. "Let me help," Tazriel said quietly, offering a medical patch. "Combat training injuries are common." Jack nodded thanks as Tazriel applied the patch. The pain eased immediately. "You fight differently than other Krell," Tazriel said. "Your techniques are unusual." Jack tensed. "Outer colony training?" "No." Tazriel's voice dropped to a whisper. "I've studied all colony fighting styles. Yours is unique." Jack's hand moved toward his hidden weapon. "Don't worry," Tazriel continued. "I won't tell anyone. Some of us don't support this war." Before Jack could respond, the barracks lights dimmed for sleep cycle. Tazriel returned to his bunk. Jack lay awake, mind racing. The data he'd stolen confirmed Earth's worst fears. The Krell had developed a new weapon, a gravity distortion device capable of crushing entire planets. The assault on the Sol system was scheduled to begin in just 14 days. As sleep finally came, Jack's communicator vibrated silently. A message from his handler. "Inspection tomorrow. They're searching for the infiltrator. Your quarters will be checked." Jack's eyes snapped open. The communicator was hidden in his personal storage unit, the first place they would look. Jack moved silently through the dark barracks. The other cadets slept, their breathing heavy in the high-gravity atmosphere. He reached his storage unit and quickly retrieved the communicator. The small device was his only link to Earth. Without it, he was truly alone. The door to the barracks slid open. Jack froze. "Surprise inspection." Commander Drez's voice boomed. "Everyone up, now." Lights blazed on. Guards entered with scanning equipment. Jack clutched the communicator, heart pounding. Nowhere to hide it. A hand grabbed his arm. Tazriel stood beside him, eyes wide but determined. "Give it to me," Tazriel whispered. Jack hesitated. "Trust me," Tazriel insisted. With no other choice, Jack slipped the communicator into Tazriel's hand. A smaller Krell quickly tucked it into his own uniform, just as the guards reached their section. "Storage units open." "Stand at attention," Drez ordered. The guards methodically searched each cadet's belongings. When they reached Jack, they spent extra time scanning his possessions. Finding nothing, they moved to Tazriel. The scanner beeped loudly when it passed over Tazriel's chest. "What's this?" A guard pulled out the communicator. Tazriel straightened his posture. My personal project, sir. I'm studying communication technologies. Commander Drez examined the device. This is not Academy-issued equipment. No, sir. I built it myself. Tazriel's voice was steady. I'm from the engineering caste. It's a hobby. Drez looked skeptical. Take him for questioning. As the guards led Tazriel away, he glanced back at Jack with a look that said, Don't worry. The next day, Jack was surprised to see Tazriel return to training. The smaller Krell had a fresh bruise on his face, but seemed otherwise unharmed. During the midday meal break, Tazriel sat beside Jack in the empty weapons room. Why did you help me? Jack asked. Tazriel looked around to ensure they were alone. Because I know what you are. Jack tensed, ready to fight. Not what you think, Tazriel continued. I don't know your species. But I know you're not Krell, and you're fighting against the High Command. How? I'm part of the Resistance. Tazriel rolled up his sleeve, revealing a small mark on his wrist. There are many of us. Lower castes, mostly. We've been watching you. Jack studied Tazriel's face. Why would Krell fight against their own kind? Because our leaders aren't what they seem. Tazriel's voice dropped lower. The High Command is controlled by something else. Something that attached to our leaders 50 years ago. We call them the Void Minds. Jack remembered his mission briefing. Earth intelligence had noted a sudden change in Krell behavior decades ago, when they shifted from peaceful exploration to aggressive expansion. These Void Minds, Jack said carefully. What do they want? To consume. First the Krell, then every species they encounter. Tazriel's eyes were intense. The Resistance fights to free our people. We need allies. Jack made a decision. I'm human. From Earth. Tazriel nodded. I suspected. The Resistance has heard rumors of human infiltrators. The Krell are planning to attack my homeworld with a new weapon. The gravity distorter. We know. Tazriel leaned closer. We can help each other. Before Jack could respond, the door to the weapons room slid open. Vexinar stood there, eyes narrowed. Interesting conversation, Vexinar said. A human spy and a Resistance traitor. The High Command will reward me well for this. Vexinar raised his weapon. Jack lunged forward, but not fast enough. The blast hit him in the chest, sending him crashing into the wall. As his vision blurred, he saw Tazriel tackle Vexinar. The last thing Jack heard before losing consciousness was Vexinar's shocked voice. Your blood. It's red. Jack woke to the sound of urgent voices. His chest burned where the blast had hit him. He was moving, being dragged through a narrow tunnel. The Academy's warning sirens wailed in the distance. He's awake, Tazriel said. Jack tried to focus. They were in some kind of maintenance tunnel beneath the Academy. Tazriel and two other Krell he didn't recognize were pulling him along. What happened? Jack's voice was weak. Your cover is blown, Tazriel said. Vexinar saw your blood. The whole Academy knows a human infiltrator is here now. Jack touched his chest. The wound wasn't deep, but his red blood had revealed his true nature. Vexinar? Knocked out, but he'll wake soon. We need to move faster. They reached a junction in the tunnels. One of the unknown Krell pressed his hand against a hidden panel. A section of wall slid open, revealing a larger chamber filled with equipment and about 20 Krell of various castes. Welcome to the Resistance, Tazriel said. They helped Jack to a medical table. A Krell doctor treated his wound while Tazriel explained the situation to the others. This is our chance, said an older Krell with faded facial ridges. The human has information about the Earth defenses. We have intelligence about the Void Mines. Together, we might stop this war. Jack sat up despite the pain. I need to contact Earth. The attack is coming in less than 2 weeks. The older Krell nodded. I am Krenzer, Resistance leader. We have a secure communication system. But first, we need your help. A holographic map appeared. showing the Academy and a structure beneath it. "This is the Void Mind Nexus," Krenzer explained. "The central hub where they maintain control over our leaders. If we destroy it, we can free the Krell High Command." Jack studied the map. "And if we time it with Earth's counterattack, ... we could end this war," Tazriel finished. Jack sent his message to Earth, including everything he'd learned about the Void Mines and the Resistance. Earth's response was immediate. They would launch their counterattack in 3 days, targeting the Krell fleet before it could deploy the gravity weapon. The Resistance plan was simple but dangerous. Jack would lead a small team to disable the Academy's defense grid, while the main Resistance force attacked the Void Mind Nexus. With the defenses down, Earth's fleet could approach undetected. As they prepared, an alarm blared through the Resistance base. "We've been discovered!" A Krell scout rushed in. "Academy forces are entering the tunnel system." "How?" Krenzer demanded. "Vexenar," Jack realized. "He must have followed us." Weapons fire echoed through the tunnels. The Resistance fighters took defensive positions. "Get to the control center," Krenzer ordered Jack and Tazriel. "Complete the mission. We'll hold them here." Jack grabbed a Krell pulse rifle. "I won't leave you to die. This is bigger than any of us," Krenzer said. "The future of both our species depends on you reaching that control center." Jack nodded grimly. He and Tazriel, along with 3 Resistance fighters, slipped through a back passage as the battle erupted behind them. They fought their way through the Academy's lower levels, using Jack's knowledge of human tactics to outmaneuver the Krell security forces. 2 of their team fell in the fighting. By the time they reached the control center, only Jack, Tazriel, and 1 other Resistance fighter remained. The control center door was sealed. As Tazriel worked to bypass the lock, Jack heard footsteps approaching. He raised his weapon, ready for another fight. Vexenar appeared around the corner, leading an elite guard unit. Jack aimed at his head, but instead of attacking, Vexenar raised his hand. "Wait, give me one reason not to shoot you," Jack growled. Vexenar's next words stunned him. "I know what you really are, human. And I know what controls our leaders. I want to help." Jack kept his weapon aimed at Vexenar. "Why should I believe you?" "Because the Void Mines took my family." Vexenar's voice cracked with emotion. "My father was a high commander. He resisted their control. I watched them execute him." Tazriel looked up from the door lock. "He's telling the truth, Jack. Let him help." Jack lowered his weapon slightly. "What's your plan?" "My security codes will get us into the control center. I've been gathering evidence against the Void Mines for years." Vexenar stepped forward. "I needed to be sure about you first." Jack nodded. Time was running out. "Do it." Vexenar pressed his hand against the security panel. The door slid open. Inside, 3 Krell technicians looked up in surprise. Vexenar's guards quickly subdued them. "The defense grid controls." Vexenar pointed to the main console. Jack and Tazriel rushed to the system. Using the codes from the Resistance, they began shutting down the planetary defenses. Alarms blared throughout the facility. "Earth fleet will arrive in 20 minutes, Jack said, checking his communicator. "We need to reach the Void Mine Nexus now." They fought their way deeper into the Academy's restricted areas. The Resistance attack had drawn most of the security forces away, but they still encountered heavy resistance. 2 of Vexenar's guards fell in a fierce firefight. Finally, they reached the Nexus entrance, a massive door made of a strange, shifting metal. "The Void Mines are not of this dimension," Vexenar explained. "They exist partially in another reality." The door opened, revealing a chamber filled with pulsing, dark energy. In the center floated a cluster of writhing black tendrils, connected to dozens of Krell in life support pods. The air felt wrong, as if reality itself was bending. "The High Command," Tazriel whispered. "They're being controlled directly." Jack checked his scanner. "The energy signature matches the gravity weapon. The Void Mines are the weapon." A deep, unnatural voice filled their minds. Humans, Krell, all will be consumed. The tendrils began to move toward them. Jack felt a pressure in his head, trying to take control. The explosive charges, he gasped, set them around the central node. They worked quickly, fighting the mental assault. Jack's vision blurred as the void mind tried to penetrate his thoughts. Images of Earth burning flashed before his eyes. "It's done," Tazriel called, "but the detonator is damaged. Someone has to trigger it manually." Jack looked at the others. He knew what had to be done. "Get out of here? I'll do it." "Jack, no." Tazriel grabbed his arm. "Earth needs to know everything. The void minds aren't just here. They're spreading to other systems." Jack pushed the detonator into Tazriel's hand. 10 seconds after I reach the center, hit this button. The blast shield will protect you." Before they could argue, Jack ran toward the central node. The tendrils reached for him, wrapping around his legs. The pain was excruciating as they tried to burrow into his mind. Jack placed the final charge directly on the pulsing heart of the void mind nexus. The tendrils pierced his modified Krell skin, drawing his red human blood. "Now," he shouted. The explosion tore through the chamber. Jack felt a searing heat, then darkness. He woke days later in a Krell medical facility. Tazriel and Vexnar stood beside his bed. "You survived," Tazriel said, amazed. "The void minds are gone." "Earth?" Jack's voice was weak. "Your fleet arrived. The war is over." Vexnar looked solemn. "But you've changed, Jack." Jack looked down at his hands. His skin was now a mottled mix of Krell blue-gray and human pink. The void mind energy and the explosion had further altered him. "Neither fully human nor Krell," the doctor explained. "Something new." 6 months later, Jack stood before the United Earth Council. Behind him were Tazriel and Vexnar, the first Krell ambassadors to Earth. "I went to their academy as a spy," Jack told the assembled leaders, "and came back as something new, the first of what both our species must become if we going to survive what's coming from the darkness beyond."